Happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. You know the day of the week it is my taco deck. Well, first of all, we're in Daytona Beach.
Love
The
it.
place is called Ocean Deck.
Yes, because there's an ocean and there's a deck.
And we're on a
Yeah,
deck.
it's a very obvious name.
And my taco guest is Jason Smith. And Jason, you're with?
I am with the search for my next great adventure.
The next opportunity.
My next opportunity, yes. You
Yes.
can't say that word enough. It's like the Bob Dole of getting hired.
Jason is a riot, but actually Jason lives in St. Augustine. I'm in Orlando. We kind of met in the middle right here at a place called Ocean Deck. We got our tacos
Yum,
already.
yum.
We've had them for a little bit. We've been munching, and we went and got blackened tacos.
Yeah, we did.
You know, we're by the ocean, fish tacos, and we're gonna take a bite out of those beauties in a second. But content. So
Content. We have to have content?
Yes, we do.
Uh-oh.
So this Taco Tuesday came about because I we touch base with each other.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's very nice of you, by the way.
You're very welcome. I care about you.
I appreciate that.
And I checked in with Jason, like, yo, how's it going? And we got into a conversation just earlier this week, and you've been telling me about the hiring process, applying, interviews. You think you're almost to the finish line, right? And then, like, what happens?
Well, lots of things happen. But no, it's really interesting because I've never looked for a role in this type of environment where it's definitely an employer's market, let's call it. You know, where real estate industry, there's a buyer's market, there's a seller's market. But one of the things I didn't think I would come across so much is ghosting. And I almost feel too old to say that. It's ghosting. But you have a couple interviews, 2, 3, 4 interviews.
Okay.
One in particular, we had an hour and 15, 20-minute presentation. And hey,
You did a presentation?
Oh, yeah. It was phenomenal, by the way.
Okay.
I can't think of it anyway. No, but it was, and it's interesting because that one, it was, hey, well, thank you, appreciate the time, all that. We've got 2 more of these to do over the next couple of days, and we'll get back with you within 2 days.
Okay.
So they set the script for how they were going to react, and nothing. I followed up a few days later. I'm a sales guy by heart. You have to follow up.
Of course.
Nothing.
You do. Nothing.
Followed up a week later. Added in the HR person.
Nada.
Followed up again about a week later, and I used a really good technique that I learned from a book, which was force them to say no. But has this role been put on hold?
Question mark.
Right. And I'm still waiting for a response on that.
Oh my.
But it's interesting. I think what people have forgotten, and you can correlate it with some of what's happening in the mortgage industry when it's so busy that you just try to keep up that you forget some of the basics, and that's what a lot of folks are struggling with right now. But on the recruiting side, there's really some simple best practices. I've been in charge of hiring people before. I've interviewed before, which is why I love interviews and the conversations. And sometimes it's really simple, but I think people have forgotten the basics. The first one is it's a people business.
It is.
You're talking to a human. And it's like I say about business-to-business sales. Companies don't buy anything. People do.
People do.
And it's people interviewing for the roles, and it's a human on the other side. And so you have to treat it with that respect, and especially when you're talking about more of a professional role. And it's not a way to sort of toot my own horn, but it's
not that there's nothing wrong, but it's not like administrative or entry level. This is executive,
it is
level,
exactly.
management role.
I have a lot of experience. I honestly never thought I would have to list so many times what college I graduated from, because I'm not a new college grad, even though I was very young. Don't let it fool you. But it's interesting, and I think really what it comes down to a lot of times is sometimes people forget the basics, and it really kind of mirrors into sales and what we do, whether it's SaaS, fintech, whatever the case may be, and simple things like you need to set aside the resources. You have to have the resources available, otherwise you're gonna fail.
So I also brought Jason, because we got into a whole depth conversation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I brought when we're having this talk, right, is like I'm thinking to myself, the people that are ghosting him, the companies that are ghosting him, do they not know, number one, our industry is extremely small,
Right.
right? It's super small. And then when he decides to go, because he will, Lord willing, get the next opportunity, he will find something.
Absolutely.
I know it. But they might want to collaborate or partner with you or sell you some kind of product, but you're going to remember them ghosting you.
No, that's exactly it.
I was like, why would you do that to
My
someone?
tacos
right?
are flying away. Yeah, keep my French fries on. Stay there, fries. I'm gonna eat you later.
So, just hey, we decided to go in a different direction, or the opportunity or the opening has been placed on hold. A simple response would suffice, and you would know to move on.
100%. And I think
Right?
that comes down to it. I've been in sales for a very long time, so I think a lot about reputation, branding, not burning
Brand awareness.
bridges.
That's right.
Those simple
That's right.
common respect aspects, because it's not only your own personal brand, which you speak about a lot, and I love it. We've had conversations about that because it is.
Yeah.
It is, because the person the hiring manager that I'm working with here, probably is not going to be there in 5 years, 6 years. They're going to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so it's not burning those bridges as well, which I think anyone in sales would know. I had somebody tell me many years ago to treat people with at least that common respect and dignity,
That
because
courtesy.
you don't know who your next prospect or who your next boss is going to be. The last thing you want to do is walk into a room or go on a Teams interview and go, oh, hey, sorry.
And then it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, Jason, if there's and you're not alone, there are so many people that are looking for opportunities, looking for their next gig, hence why Friday Finds came about, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there is a good tip you can tell someone to help them with their search or even encourage them, what is it, Jason?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that. I think a couple of simple things that I've learned, especially somebody with a diverse background within a particular industry, but prior to that, an even more diverse industry, is that don't let your own fears get in the way of a good candidate. And I'm going to say it right now, and I'm going to look at the camera. No one you're hiring is trying to take your job right now.
Woo!
That's it. There's a lot of fear in that, and strong, great leaders
That's a good one.
want to hire people, or should want to hire people that are going to build them up, build their team, eventually take their role, because those good leaders are eventually going to move on.
That's right.
But I think a lot of people are worried about that, and I think a lot of things too is that don't be afraid. I said afraid twice, but to do yourself a favor, really, and look at a candidate that isn't someone that fits your exact mold. Because the reality is that how do any of us grow? And I read a book. His last name was Epstein. It was David Epstein, and I was going to tell a joke, no relation to the other. Anyway, but it fell flat there to Jeffrey Epstein. Anyhow, but it's called Range, and it's an excellent book by David Epstein, and it talks about how great diversity in background is, and really different perspective. And if you want to build a brand, if you want to build a company, if you want to build a culture, you need different ideas. And as much as I like me, and I do, I'm a big Jason Smith fan, thank you. An entire company of me or an entire sales team of me,
it won't work.
It's going to fall flat. So look beyond what you've been doing, because that's where the innovations happen. That's where the success happens. That's where the magic happens. And it's been historically proven.
You are so right, you guys.
But one of me is great.
One of me is great.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to connect with Jason, feel free to do so. He is an awesome guy, very knowledgeable. He's just fun to be around. So you guys, happy Taco Tuesday.
That's so sweet. Can I get that in writing?
Of course. Always sending light and positivity to all. This too shall pass. Let's go ahead and take a break.
There we go. Yum.
Always eat your taco.
Cheers.
Bye.